But it was never just a job with Air America.
No. Um, One of the things that maybe we'll get back to some family stuff.
Mm.
What was family life like for you? And I mean, one of the things that I feel I was really lucky about
Yeah.
being a son of an Air America pilot was that we got to travel extensively, not just where we lived, but
Yeah.
we got to go to Europe on vacations and saw things that I'll probably never see again in my life.
Well, my boys did too. Yeah, we go home through Europe or whatever. We went to New Zealand. I took them down there one time for 30 days, and we had a good time down there. Went to stay in Sydney a few days, and then went on down to New Zealand. We go to Hong Kong, Bangkok, and that kind of stuff. In fact, we went into Hong Kong one time, and back in those days, your passport was good for 3 years, right? Remember?
Mm-hmm.
So here's this little kid running around about this tall as Teddy, and we knew we had his visa to get back into Vietnam and everything, but we didn't realize that his passport had expired. So we're going through immigration in Hong Kong, and the guy said, "He can't come in." "What do you mean he can't come in? His passport's expired." "Oh no." So he let him in on a longshoreman's pass, and it was like Sunday, or the next day we went to the American Embassy and got him a new passport. But how many kids have that kind of...
No. What was that now? About the survival course?
Some of us project guys, they decided we need a little survival training in the local area, so we had a site there called PS-44 where they trained teams that were put out in the boonies. And so we got a couple of our local guys, and we kind of went out in the jungle with not real thick stuff, and the little guy was showing us, well, if you cut this vine off, a section of that, then you get pure water drains out of the vine. You can drink it. You don't have to worry about getting sick, and you can eat this leaf and that plant and this stuff. I said, "Well, what are we going to have for dinner?" He said, "We're going to have fish." I said, "Fish?" I said, "This is interesting. How's he going to catch fish?" So he pulls out a block of C4 and puts a detonator in it and a short fuse and throws it in the stream. That's just what you want to do when you're trying to escape and evade, right? So we had fish for dinner. Fresh fish.
Fresh fish. And what was left of them, huh?
Well, they weren't blown up. They were just dead,
Concussion charge, I guess, huh?
I thought that was kind of amusing. Yeah, sure. That's what we're going to do when the bad guys are running after us through the jungle. We're going to throw a block of C4 in the stream and kill fish.
Did you ever have to run through the jungle, Mr. Ted?
No, I didn't. No, I never did. I was very fortunate.
Yeah. I know Dad did a couple times.
I remember one time what's the guy Russell's name? Jim Russell. He landed at a strip and shut down and got out, and then about that time he got a RPG through the side of his airplane. So he and the guys he'd gone in to pick up took off. And he said, "I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm a pilot. I'm not supposed to be running through the jungle." But he did, and he got picked up. But it happened to some guys. I was lucky. I had to leave my airplane a couple of places and ride out on a helicopter, but I never had to run through the jungle.
Yeah. You guys had a really tight network, knowing where everybody was at any particular time, and I know you guys had check-ins every 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah. If somebody didn't check in when they were supposed to, start looking for him. Well, where is he? Did he get where he was going and forget to call in or what? So everybody started checking. Yeah. And we didn't have people on the ground very long, generally speaking. Unless somebody like Ernie Brace landed way out in the middle of nowhere in a strip that had been lost during the night, and he was locked up for 8.5 years. But that generally didn't happen. As soon as somebody hit the ground, we were after them, whether it was us or the military or whatever. I know one guy we didn't get out on the PDJ, and we were airdropping with a Twin Otter on the southern edge of the PDJ, And this guy was new in country, and he flew right over an NVA battalion and got shot. He got shot down with he knew what it was. It was a 14.5, hit him in the engine. But he landed successfully in the grass out on the plain. Not far from where we were, but we couldn't get in there with it. We didn't think we'd get in there and land with auto. We didn't know what the ground was like. You know, we were going to knock a gear off or something. Besides that, we got to roll out and come back and do a takeoff roll. He picked a bad time, and somebody, one of his guys wrote a little book about we didn't pick him up. Well, I'll tell you what happened. We tried to pick him up. When he went down, most of the helicopters were going back into launching to refuel. We'd all gone out there about the same time, so they like to stay kind of, you know, where they're flying together so they can pick each other up. We had one guy out there, and he went in and tried to, he went down on the right side of the 01, which was intact. Didn't see the guy. He hovered right down to the ground. And the bad guys were so close they could see him standing up and shooting at him, like 100 yards away or 75 yards away. And they got some hits. And I saw him come back off the PDJ and landed on an abandoned strip just off the edge on the side of a hill, and they were streaming fuel when they came off. And a couple of other birds came out, and that guy was just, I mean, he was surrounded by an entire battalion. And they tried to get down to him, and one got down on the right side of the 01, which is where the door was, and the guy had gotten out and was slumped over the wheel on the right side with the back of his head blown off. So we didn't get him. And they were shooting the stew out of these guys. We had some Thai helicopter gunships that were supposed to be supporting them. Nah, they never went down through 10,000 feet. So they had no fire support. They had no T-28 support or nothing. And the guys risked their butt to try to get him and didn't get him, and we were criticized for it. And we had 2 or 3 helicopters shot up pretty good. The only thing that held the guys off just a little bit was the flight mechanics in the back were shooting, and maybe the second pilot in the front was shooting out the window. But I kind of felt bad about not getting him, but don't criticize us for it.
Yeah, at least you tried it.
Yeah, we didn't have any F4s or anything like that backing us up.
Nothing. Yeah.
A lot of guys we did pick up.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of them.
Oh yeah, I know there's a lot of Air Force guys that are very, very happy that they got picked up by Air America.
Yeah, and some Marines, Navy pilots, whatever.
Oh yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
We had a whole wall with plaques, just full of plaques in the bar and uniform, just from different Air Force units or whatever, in appreciation for us picking their pilots up. But you never hear about that.
We will now.
I hope you do.
Well,
I mean, you know, it's not something, you know, we're not bragging about. We just did it.
Yeah, because that's your job. Yeah.
If somebody, we could hear somebody going down, everybody stop what they're doing and try to get him.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
That's what you did.
You win some and you lose some. Hopefully you win a lot more than you lose. I've heard helicopter guys talk about dropping a jungle penetrator down, and I know one guy was telling me about dropping it down in a hole in the jungle, and it got hung up. It wasn't on the ground. It may not have been a penetrator. It might have just been one of those other things they had. And it got hung up in a tree, and they were kind of in a hole with just a little bit of rotor blade clearance down in the trees, and they couldn't get the thing back, and it wouldn't go down to the ground. So the flight mechanic pulls out his big knife and saws through the cable while the guy's trying to hold a hover in this, like being in a glass of, you know, a drinking glass. Just a little clearance on each side. They got out of it. But I didn't fly helicopters, so I didn't actually pluck anybody out of the jungle or anything like that. But I was hearing these things happening, you know, as we were flying around, or maybe relaying from, you know, or whatever. But I never actually recovered anybody. And we might pick them up off a strip after the helicopter dropped them off. But, you know.
Obviously, because of the ability of the helicopters, they're obviously the ones that did most of the pickups.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we evacuated a lot of people when the bad guys were coming over the hill, you know. And they, you know, when like they say, you know, in the front, you know, you go into a place and a guy's running towards you with a breech block from a 105 howitzer, you know they're close.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.